When A. Philip Randolph said, I now present to you young John Lewis, the National Chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
Brother John Lewis.
I looked to my right. I saw hundreds and hundreds of young people who had been involved during the early days. Looked straight ahead. I saw this sea of humanity. Then I looked to the left. I saw young black men and young white men up in the trees trying to get a better view. And then I said to myself, well, this is it. And I looked straight ahead again. And something said to me, go for it. And I opened my mouth and I started speaking.
We march today for jobs and freedom. But we have nothing to be proud of. But hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here. For they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. The time will come when we will not confine our marching to Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
Wow, that was John Lewis. Many of you know he passed away this weekend. I'm here in Atlanta, so a lot of stuff was happening throughout the city just in commencement of Mr. John Lewis, just with a lot of articles and things like that. But that was a speech that he gave back in 1963. Many of you don't know this or not, I don't know if you know it or not, but he went before Dr. Martin Luther King spoke, and he did the I Have a Dream speech, which is incredibly famous. But John Lewis participated before Dr. King. Now, what does that have to do with today in leadership? I'll be remiss if I did not salute John Lewis during this time. As I think about leadership, I mean, he's the epitome of a leader. That speech that you just heard, he gave that when he was 23 years old. Think about you. Think about what you were doing at the age of 23. Think about myself, right? John Lewis was on the front lines leading a lot of the civil rights work right there side by side with Dr. King. From the marches, the sit-ins, the protests. It's rumored that he had one of the worst beatings with Selma, and everything happened there. So just tried and true, incredibly strong, courageous leader, right? So when you think of all of the characteristics that we've covered up until this point, I think we're close about episode 10 or so. John Lewis, to me, epitomizes all that it takes to be a leader. And in that speech, he talks a lot about that during that time, about staying woke, about how we're fighting for equal wages and those types of things, some of which, is still happening to this day. So as we think about leadership, I wanted to just take this Sunday to acknowledge Mr. John Lewis and his family. If you don't know John Lewis, please read up on him. He's a ideal leader in all of its forms. I never forget, I took the train one time up in the DC area when I was living up there, and I saw him on the Amtrak, and he was just so gracious and so kind, older gentleman letting people go off before him, but just really respectful, suited up, sharp as a whip. And I remember seeing him and I thought to myself, like, wow, he's a class act gentleman. So if you're watching this, definitely lock in, understand who John Lewis is, and look at his body of work. And within his body of work, you will see all of the elements that what a true leader is supposed to possess, especially during a time where he was saying some stuff that literally could have got him killed, right? So when you think about your own world, when you think about your influence of people, when you think about your families, when you think about just courageous leadership, especially during a time like this, with so many things happening across the globe, do you have that courage to speak up? Do you have that courage to stand by people who's saying the right thing, but the majority isn't quite buying into it just yet? Right? Ask yourself that question. So listen, this Sunday was real quick. I wanted to pay tribute to John Lewis. We'll be back next Sunday with more of a practical word that you can use and apply into your day-to-day. All right, until next Sunday, salute. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.